Eat to the beat of Joyce LaFray Young's Tropic Cooking, Florida's favorite food and restaurant show. Joyce LaFray Young is the author of famous Florida cookbooks and restaurant guides.
Hi, and welcome back to Tropic Cooking. We have quite a show here today. I've got with me not only a very famous cookbook author, but also a very, very dear friend of mine, Clarita Garcia. And she's going to be cooking up picadillo and flan. And it's already started. You might see some of the steam coming out near the cameras. But this is quite a dish. We showed it last week. This week we're going to taste it and really have some fun with it. But before I start on that, I want to tell you about a few upcoming events and a few people that are going to be on the show in the next couple of months. First of all, we've got at Harbor Island Book Fair, September 14th and 15th. We've got a book fair, and I will be there signing Tropic Cooking, and also Clarita will be there signing Clarita's Cocina. And if you have information, if you need information on that, call Rhonda in Tampa at 223-9898. Then we've got a major, major culinary event coming up in October from the 11th through 13th, and that's going to be at Plant Park, Tampa, and that is sponsored, of course, by the Tampa Tribune, who also brings you Tropic Cooking. It's for 3 big days of festivities. We've got 30 terrific restaurants involved, everybody from Burn Steakhouse to Jack's Skyway to Munch's to who have you. We might even have Windows in the World from New York come in for that. So for information, call 685-4581 and ask for Earl in Tampa, especially if you're a restaurant who would like to be involved. We do have a couple of slots open for that event. And then coming up in October, the 31st of October through November 1st, the 2nd annual Stone Crab and Seafood Festival, and that's at the Colony Beach and Tennis Resort. Lots of fun. If you want information, call Michael Klauber down there in Sarasota at 383-5558. So there it is, some upcoming events, and also coming up on Tropic Cooking, and this is going to be October 9th. We will be going to 1 hour starting next week, and on October 9th, we will have live in our studios Paul Prudhomme, and he will be cooking up a wonderful Cajun meal, and we'll be having a super time, and also you can see him at the Tampa Tribune Taste of Florida event on the 12th of October. So I just want to tell you about a few of those things because they're really important culinary events. And if you have something you'd like us to talk about, give us a call here at Blab at 576-2266. Okay, we have a trivia question here, and it's the same question that I gave you last week, but nobody answered it. So let's see if we might get an answer. The prize for this question is a book from Clarita Garcia called Clarita's Cocina, the book from which she'll be cooking today. Tropic Cooking, a Dining by the Bay, restaurant menu guide, and of course some Palmer wines. And they're delicious wines. We had Bob Palmer here last week, and I think you'll truly enjoy this. So the question is, okay, the most expensive white grapes grown primarily in the Burgundy and Champagne regions of France and California. What kind of grapes am I? I hope you have the answer. It's pretty easy. Any wine book will tell you. So, before I go much further with all these events and things happening, I'd like to introduce our guest, Clarita Garcia. Welcome.
Good. I'm glad to be here.
You've been flooring around here for the last
yes,
hour,
I've
looking like you're going to cook up a storm.
What I'm trying to do is burn. Brown the meat
don't burn it. We don't want to
before we get meat, before we continue with the recipe. Now you know, Joyce, that this picadillo and the flan that we're going to demonstrate are two of the most simple recipes and most popular, probably in the Tampa Bay area.
I think so.
And one is strictly Spanish. The flan is Spanish. Now the picadillo is Cuban. It's from the Caribbean. Okay. And so now we're going to get started. We have browned the meat. We have drained
Clarita, how much meat do we have in there? Just for our viewers. We're going to have the ingredients on the screen. About 2.5 to 3 pounds.
So now I'm going to add we drained it of all the, you know,
Oh, the yucky fat.
yucky fat that the meat releases.
What kind of meat are you using?
Ground round.
Ground round.
Uh-huh.
So
And I usually have it done. I usually ask them back there that I want a lean piece of meat and I want it ground.
so you have it specially done,
oh,
maybe
yes.
maybe about 18% fat at the most.
Absolutely.
Okay, here's some of the
Now
ingredients
here we're adding,
on the screen here, for those of you who like to copy them
we're
down.
adding the olive oil, okay?
Okay, and that's
And we're
about
gonna
a
put
fourth of a
one
cup.
for each pound. And then to that, we're going to add, you can even do this with two tablespoons.
Okay, we're
and it's
still on
delicious.
the first screen. We've got the ground beef. I think they slipped to the second screen there.
Okay.
We want to go back, okay?
All right.
And we've
So
got
now we have
onions.
the onions. Now you can put this all in at one time, okay?
The whole-
That's what we're
the
going to do.
whole bunch.
That's garlic up there, and that is green peppers. The
Okay,
whole
that's
bunch.
after you brown the meat.
That's
and then
right.
drain
After you
it.
brown the meat and
Okay.
drain it. And this is a tomato, peeled, seeded, and quartered, okay? And chopped up. It is. Now,
If you're too lazy, do you have to really peel it?
yes,
You
yes.
do.
Oh no,
Okay,
no.
that's
You
one of the
cannot
secrets
afford to
of the
be.
recipe,
You
right?
cannot afford to be. You can't afford to be lazy in the Spanish kitchen. Okay, here we go with a bay leaf. Okay, one or two, why not? And then, whoops, and then we have the oregano. Now the oregano is, I think it's about, what is it, teaspoon that I put in there, right?
I think you put about a
Yeah,
teaspoon in
this is
your
a
recipe.
teaspoon. That's why I usually measure, you know. This is a tablespoon, this is a teaspoon, this is half a teaspoon.
Okay.
So,
Tablespoon actually is what you
okay,
said.
so,
But it doesn't matter. It serves
Nah.
your taste too a little bit.
okay. Now, let's see. What else do we have? Oh, and we have the olives, the
It's a stuffed
stuffed
one, isn't
olives.
it?
Good Lord, I can't get my words out. And a little bit of tomato sauce.
Okay.
And
Any kind of tomato sauce doesn't
anything.
really matter.
That's right. And this is about a teaspoon of brown sugar. Put there just to counter it, because you see we put in wine, of course. I mean, no, we do. This is not wine. This is
That's rice.
that's rice
wine.
Rice wine.
Rice
So
vinegar.
we
I'm
put
sorry.
just a little bit of that. It's delicious. I love it. I love to cook with it, and I love my salads with it. Now a little bit of this. Oh boy, I better measure this.
That's an idea. That comes out very fast.
Oh, it does. So
Looks
now what
looks
else
like
do
a
we
very
need?
Christmassy
Oh,
dish.
the hot sauce.
Aha.
Now remember, you should never overdo the hot sauce. Anything that offends your palate when you swallow, you've got too much of. So
Also, I think
just a
that
little bit to enhance it.
to enhance it. The Cuban population
See?
seems to go a lot lighter on the hot sauce than
Oh yeah.
the Spanish.
Well, no, the Spanish don't.
The same too.
No,
rather mild.
you're thinking about Mexican, okay?
Ah.
No, this is not. So now you go like this, and you mix it all up. Isn't that pretty and colorful?
That's very, very
Oh, and we have
pretty.
pimentos here that usually I use the fresh ones, okay?
Okay.
And here's the vino,
Aha.
white wine. I mean the Burgundy, which is Spanish, right? I
Spanish,
always cook with Spanish wines.
And not necessarily an expensive one.
No, but
Of course, you use the best, I'm sure.
I love it. I love good Spanish wines. We used to carry that in our restaurant all the time. We had a full line of Spanish wines, but they're just not. They don't merchandise their wines like France and like
Well, I think you see a
Italy.
lot more,
I
Clarita,
think-
down south part of Florida.
Yeah. Now remember, in my cookbook, I say you cook this about what, 3/4 of an hour or better. But today, in today's world, where people they want their vegetables crisp, so you don't have to cook it that long. So you just put it in there, cover it up, and 20 minutes, we're through.
And be sure to put a top. Okay, we're going to take a little break right now. I'd like to remind you at this time of our trivia question, just very, very quickly, if you have the answer, we have some nice, nice prizes. The most expensive white grapes grown primarily in the Burgundy and Champagne regions of France and in California. What kind of grape are they? We'll be right back.
Eat to the beat of Joyce LaFray Young's Tropic Cooking, Florida's favorite food and restaurant show. Joyce LaFray Young is the author of famous Florida cookbooks and restaurant guides.